The afterlife, according to an occultist. What happens to a person after death, and where do ghosts come from? The human soul, he says, is a multidimensional structure manifest at multiple levels of reality, different in density and frequency. Each level of reality corresponds to one of the energy bodies of a person. The whole universe is arranged like this structure, and even in the old mystical traditions, the central element of the construction of the universe was the cosmic soul, which existed forever in the world of ideas and primordial images. And he says a person consists of a material body, an astral body, or physical energy is spirit, which is a person himself. And at the time of death, these three principles separate and continue to exist separately. The division goes into 7 or 9 parts, but text will be greatly simplified. A person and his invisible and visible composition. The material body consists of elements without the support of the spirit, returns to its original state in a circle. Plants feed on earth minerals, plants feed animals, human animals, and finally after death a person will decompose, nourishing the minerals. Everything returns to normal. Our astral body has a dual nature and depends on a person, whether during his lifetime he was drawn down to material values and pleasures or pulled up to spiritual pursuits. In some people, there's almost no spiritual part and they turn into a kind of intelligent animal. They're ruled by instinct and elements such as lust, gluttony, voluptuousness. Many people, in fact, are not even human. Their basic impulses do not distinguish them from animals. Look at what's happening around. Wars, passions, crime, all this indicates that we are an animal-human race, and the race of real people will come after us. The true person, the human spirit, is being freed from the material body and passes into spiritual world. Devachan is a kind of personal paradise where all our purest aspirations, all our refined tastes and tender affections are manifested. All our best dreams and most beloved people are there in Devachan with us and never leave us and are ready to answer our slightest call. Everything that we loved on earth is presented there, and all that is as real as natural as possible. This is not a religious paradise. Devachan is a kind of resting place between incarnations, and it fully corresponds to your personality, what you believed in during your lifetime. Now, I don't believe in reincarnation, obviously, I'm just reading this for you. Now, the heaven achieved by the individually perfected corresponds to his ability because it's his own creation, the work of his aspiration and abilities. If you don't believe in anything, that you were an atheist, limit yourself to earthly blessings and spirituality is completely absent in you, you will not see and feel anything. It will just be a black emptiness lasting until the next rebirth because you cannot reproduce what does not exist for you. The nature of ghosts and spirits and poltergeists. Our astral body does not decompose immediately, and it's a kind of semblance of our personality, the remnants of desires, thoughts, impressions received during life. If a person possesses spiritual principle, a developed conscience, used matter as a tool but had not attachment to it, for example, he lived modestly but not poor, enjoyed life but did not turn pleasures into excesses, the astral body will easily survive the separation from the material and dissolve in manas. If a person was strongly attached to material pleasures, excesses, his astral body pulls him down. He cannot leave the earth, the material world. This is what Jesus spoke about, noting that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. In this case, wealth means obvious material excesses. Now that I agree with. On the other hand, poverty is also a vice. Deprivation is harmful as well as excess. When a person, instead of spiritual growth, becomes coarse and karmatic scales lean on the animal side, his astral body is tied to the earth, rushes back and forth, waiting until he can throw off his weight and get into the manas palaces. The material component of such an astral body is so great that it can literally incarnate, become visible to prying eyes. From here come ghosts, apparitions, and poltergeists. Sometimes they can thicken their density to such a state that they can move or throw objects. If such an astral soul yearns for its loved ones, for its home, then it is logical that it is there and that it returns there. These are black human souls attached to fleshly desires, base passions, animal instincts, which still cannot receive spiritual development, despite the fact that they have already broken away from the material body. If such an astral soul cannot free itself, it becomes a demon or an enraged fiend, losing the remnants of its humanity. So the worse a person's karma, the stronger his attachment to money, things, women, pleasures, the less developed his spirituality or is completely absent, the greater the chance that his astral body will not ascend, but will sweep across the earth, gradually dehumanizing and transforming it into an evil entity. Interrupted life? If a human life was interrupted in an unnatural way as a result of a crime or accident, it's still full of psychic energy. His astral body must remain on earth until his real natural date of birth, of death. It will spend all the time on earth that is necessary for its normal development. These people, in fact, are not even dead. They are living, forcibly deprived of a material body, cut off from life in the dawn of forces. They have a huge number of connections and desires. That's why, for example, in some cultures, people who died an unnatural death were not buried in cemeteries. They were laid face down so that they would dig in the other direction. Their graves were also covered with stones. If an evil person died an unnatural death, his spirit can try to take possession of the living body. And this is where obsessions and madness come from. If his influence is weaker, then mental disorders, alcoholism, depression, nightmares derive. When mediums call spirits, it's these restless elementaries that appear most often, and the curious fact is that the less light, the easier it will appear for them, for light has a strong decomposing ability. So darkness is, in a sense, really their element. The astral bodies of the many people are still on earth for a long time, and they can even incarnate, if they are heavy with matter, appear in dreams or contact. By celebrating a person's first 40 days after death, it's not at all a meaningless tradition, but the desire to bring back the deceased only delays his astral body here. In order for it to go to Manas, to be reborn again, you need to let it go. And this is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.